All right, welcome to episode 4. Um, Today, gonna do a little bit something different. It's gonna be for what a lot I see in, I guess, in life in general. A lot of individuals don't really know how to be liked. I mean, we've all kind of seen individuals to where they really have a hard time getting along with the group. Conversations with them are a little bit awkward. They that weird awkward dap that people do, or you go for a dap and they give you a handshake. They don't really know how to mend, and in short, they don't know how to be liked. And that's what today's podcast is going to be: how to be liked as a man, because I don't know how to be liked as a woman. There are relatively the same points, but there are some minor differences to where it would be cool for a guy to do it versus it would be cool for a girl to do it. An example is like if a dude was going to talk about girl drama, more than likely the girls are going to think that he's gay. But so there's certain things that kind of stick to the man group and kind of stick with the woman group. So I'm going to speak for the men just because I'm a man. First things first is knowing your temperament. Knowing your temperament is extremely important because you kind of have to gauge whether you need to lower down your energy or up your energy. I would say most individuals have to lower down their energy. A lot of the people that are in the office that they come on too fast and too strong, they have a tendency to I don't know, want to invite you out for the bar even though you barely even know them. But there are individuals on the opposite spectrum to where their energy is so low that they just seem extremely boring, or their life is always on repeat. So you kind of know what they're going to be doing next week anyway. There's not really much of a difference. I would say knowing how intense you are is extremely important. Intense in particular situations, like how angry do you get? When you get too hyper, do you get annoying? Are you a good drunk? Are you a bad drunk? Are you a good smoker or a bad smoker? All these things kind of play a big part to where if you're going to be socializing with individuals, you have to know what your limits are. A lot of people, they go out and party and they get drunk, and then they do a whole lot of apologizing to her. Sorry, man, I didn't mean to punch you in the face. Or they call their ex, or they do a lot of things, man. I can't tell you how many stories I've been through with just people that are drunk. Like I said, whether or not to go up or down on levels. Some individuals, especially my age, I would say they probably have to go up a little bit just for the case that a lot of people that are my age tend to be more introverts than anything else. You see a lot of people either above our generation or below our generation, maybe going out to the people below our generation kind of goes out to bigger parties, I would say. But the generation above us, they do a lot of, bars and whatnot. Or you like where you're at in the sense of temperament, but you have to sharpen your skills. And what I mean by sharpening your skills is learning how to talk, learning when to talk or be quiet, and then inserting a funny story or insightfulness, or just being a listening ear. A lot of individuals don't really pick up on those cues because they're very, very tiny. But the tiny details is what makes someone enjoy being around you. I have a tendency to read body language very well. So I kind of know when someone is happy, sad. So I go based off of that to determine whether or not how I speak to the person. And then base how they respond to me, I kind of adjust the conversation to where they're always comfortable around me. It is a lot of work. I'm not even gonna say it seems like a lot of work. It is a lot of work. But I've mastered the skill to where I am likable. And when that happens, it makes your life a lot easier. So with sharpening your skills, you have to, like I said first, you have to first know your range. Either you're a school shooter or you're the cool guy at the bar. You kind of have to pick where you are on the line, and then that's going to determine whether you go up in intensity or you go down in intensity. I would say I'm being the cool guy. The guy at the bar is probably the coolest that you could possibly be. But obviously, being a school shooter is you're the most reject of the reject. You don't want to be a school shooter. I think that's kind of self-explanatory. And then you would also have to figure out your style. Figuring out your style is extremely important. You have to figure out what you are best at and use that as your advantage. So you have the cook. I mean, if anybody's having a good barbecue, I know at least everybody who watches this knows a guy who is a master at the grill, and you will invite him and you only allow him to touch the food, almost guaranteeing that then everybody knows the comedian, the guy who's able to tell jokes, make everybody engaged, roast, get everybody to laugh, make you likable, have people around you, or the conversationalist. The conversationalist can be an in-between of the comedian and the guy who I guess is just intelligent. It's kind of a good in-between. You get the best of both worlds, and then that is more for like a one-on-one situation. No, not so much of a group. The cook and the comedian is good for a group, but the conversationalist is good for individual people. The party or event guy, if you know that every New Year's, this guy throws an amazing 4th of July, people are going to want to talk to you. People are going to want to know you, especially if you're known for having the biggest fireworks in the neighborhood. The neighbors will eventually, once it, maybe the second year of that happening, the neighbors are going to come to you and be like, hey man, you going to Texas to buy the fireworks? What's happening? You'll see a lot of individuals like that. And then my favorite, which is what my dad is best known for, is I know a guy. Dad is always, he's always cool with people. He always knows how to be likable with people, to where if he needs a favor, he knows a guy to talk to. And then once he settles that, then that guy knows a guy, and it just goes on and on and on. That is how I learned that particular skill. I learned how to be cool. Like, I guess the conversationalist from my uncles. I knew how to be a comedian from also my uncles. And then I know how to be the event / I know a guy from my dad. Those styles combined make you extremely liked, but it takes a lot of effort. I would say most you could be is 3, most, and it takes a lot of effort because it takes so much maintenance. And depending on your type, for the individuals who I guess don't have any of those things at all, but you do have an interest in being one of those things, the thing that I would suggest is go on YouTube, find out someone, explore that field of cooking, comedy, conversationalist, party event. You find a person that you enjoy watching, you relate to, you tell similar jokes to, and just listen to them, but listen to them to almost like an obsessive level. I know that probably doesn't sound safe, but it is the truth. You want to understand how they insert a joke, how they are able to command a group. You want to figure all of that out. So once you understand when he does X, he does Y, and then the reaction is Z. Once you figure that out, then at that moment you could kind of make it to where it's your own style. So it's just like any boxer, any fighter, no one has an original style. Is they copy the style and then they hyper focus on one aspect. So Mike Tyson, if you look at majority of his fights, I don't know who the person is, but the Dempsey role is very common. That part is just that Mike Tyson focused primarily with putting his feet on the ground so he can land a harder punch. It's going to be the same difference of how you insert these people that you respect and insert your own personality to it. For the cook, you may look forward to David Ramsey, but you're a phenomenal Italian cook. You know how he maybe not the best, because Gordon Ramsay is known for just, calling people a donut. But Guy Fieri, this, you make it into a spectacle. You flambe things. You make it to where people are drawn to you. If you're a comedian, my personal favorite, Patrice O'Neal. But if you like Theo Von, is a good one. Andrew Santino, Bobby Lee, Chris Krista Stefano, conversationalists, Jordan Peterson. I love Patrick Bet David. I don't know. Pick whoever. That part doesn't really matter. And but with all this being said, just know it takes trial and error. It takes a lot of you making mistakes, you saying a joke and it bombing, you trying out different foods and it fails. All these things do take time. You're not going to be a master overnight. And if that's what you expect, do not expect to get better, because you're going to fail and you have to be okay with rejection, failures, and failing. You can't be a failure like we said last episode, but you could fail. We don't want failures, but you can fail. And just realize that it does take a lot of time. I cannot emphasize that enough. If you think that you're going to master this in 30 minutes, you're sadly mistaken. Even to this day, I still look at other people and see how they think, how they move, and I just adapt it to my style. And yeah, it may not be there's very few individuals that I see or hear or even talk to that actually know how to develop psychologically. A lot of it is with physical things or maybe mentally, but nothing psychologically. And I hope that's what I do with this podcast. I can plan on continuing doing. What I do plan though is changing the setting. Next time you see me, I will be in a better looking scenario. Won't tell you what it is, but yeah, I'm excited. Improvements, people. All right, peace.